This time I want you guys to think about.
Let's have a video call meeting like this. So,
Like, let's say there's something that I want, like, the thing that I'm always thinking about is kind of like this. I was just thinking about this yesterday. I was like, if I wanted to, I kind of want to sandwich it in between other movements that I know that my partners would react to. So, like, I don't know what's going to be a thing in the middle that I want. I have to think about what's going to happen before that, and then what's going to happen after. So, like, maybe in order for him to react, I want to be able to move his foot. So, like, I'm not just like going to force it. So it's maybe like I'll just do like a hand fight or something. I'll open his elbow and then out. And then I also have to think about, okay, maybe I open his elbow with the wrist grip, and then as I go for the other, walk me, right, close it, and I have to think about what's next. Maybe I'll do like a throw by or something. So I'm always thinking, I'm trying to think more about like, all right, what's the reaction that I'm going to give? It's usually the opposite reaction. In order for Paul to give me the order, like I don't want to necessarily fight for it. I literally just want to open it and then continue. So it's like there's a reaction beforehand that I usually give. So maybe like a different example, it's like in order to get like the arm crash, I could just force it and maybe Paul won't let me have it. So I'll do this like carry him around thing. So how do I get Paul? How do I force it so I get the arm? Maybe it's like that. I go for a single and he'll step back, and now this way backwards, the arm crack becomes much easier. And then maybe he starts turning me anyway, and then now I'm going for the. So I want you guys to start thinking about just like almost like what is the reaction that I want to create to make the movement that I actually want much easier, and then what's my backup plan if that fails. So I think like the purpose of like some of these very light sort of group fights in the morning is for you guys to figure that out. So we'll do like 2 longer-ish sessions of 3 minutes, and just play around with like the groups that you like and try to figure out like what reaction do I want to create before, and then have like a follow-up reaction.
dressed me like, and at the time I had big everything. So,
I mean, I would probably say you're just impressed.
so the time I get dressed in black.
Yeah, I got a doctor. No, I think mostly it's just like, for me, it's nicer to start thinking immediately. It's like, yeah, it's like, sort of warming up right now. Already.
You know, Dylan. Name Dylan.
Then, okay.
Sure.
We're just trying to catch a single or something.
Yeah, it's like group fight. Just like doing the things that you like and trying to figure out the reactions that come forward now. Alright, you partners, same thing. Keep it loose and keep it light. So, like, you don't want to be grabbing too hard. Yeah. Yeah. game is basically I'm looking. So Paul's the defender and I'm the attacker. What I'm doing is I'm looking to keep Paul on his back. And if Paul decides to come up, like if he's just fighting to get up, if I get a rear body lock, then that's also a winning condition. So the whole point of this game is knowing how to keep your opponent down. So it's just like I drill a takedown, and then the minute his hips hit the mat, Paul's goal is to just like to not get hit and not get scored on. So in this case, that means his back might hit the mat for a second, but he's trying to figure out how to get up. Right? So like even though I have one leg from the takedown, Paul's trying to get up, so I need to figure out a way to either keep him down, or if he does get up and get away, I need to make sure I still end up in an advantageous position. Most likely with your body lock and stuff like that. Some things to think about. So let's say like I just finished this takedown. Some things to think about. Like the way that I keep my opponent down is to kill the limbs that he uses to heist, which is usually the bottom. So right now Paul is on his right hip. If I have his left leg, he can still heist up. He can still get up on his right leg. Come back down. So I either need to kill this bottom leg by pulling off the mat so he can't bring it underneath the base, or I need to turn the top hip into the bottom hip. Right? So like one way we can do that is to use pressure in the knee. I can just turn it so that now I have this nice leg down to him. So there are ways, there are things to think about. Again, like if you're in range to grab his hand, you can also grab it so he can't heist up on the bottom. So it's kind of like just right after you do your takedown, it's figuring out which limbs do I grab so I can keep my opponent grounded. And if I can, like, understand that he's going to turn away and try to get rid of the grip, and then so the game is drill a takedown, and then the moment the defender's knees hit the mat, the game starts. Defender look to try to get up any way you can, or turn away and sort of like try to escape. Any questions?
You want to do this?
Oh, yeah, sure.
We're starting with the. And then I'm gonna put you down, and then that's on the inside.
Immediately try and get up once the hips hit the mat. Immediately try to get up.
Yeah.
So,
Can we do the
I will do this with one more partner. Just a quick thing. Like, let's say I take Paul down. I'm not wasting any time. So, like, the minute Paul goes down, he's immediately trying to get up. There's no, he's immediately going for reactions, and I'm trying to deal with that. If I can keep him down for like 2 to 3 seconds, I don't need to pass. I'll get my takedown points and then switch. But if Paul's back comes off of the mat and he's basically not getting scored on by having his back off the mat, then it keeps going until I can keep his back on the mat for 2 to 3 seconds, or he stands up and I get a rear guard. Alright, one more time. Partners.
After 2 3 seconds. Give me a back at you.
Alright, so the reason why I actually really like this exercise is just because, like, I think a lot of jiu-jitsu is contingent on, like, let's say I take someone down, and then it's like, there's almost like this agreement that, okay, Paul says, alright, I'm going to play bottom. And it just becomes really hard when Paul says, no, I don't want to play bottom. I'm just going to fucking stand up. And it just like poses a big problem for the person on top, and Paul's just like, okay, I'm just going to start standing up. And I think like people sometimes aren't used to dealing with that. So like, if I work so hard to get a takedown, man, I want to keep it. I want to keep him on the mat and make sure that he stays down until I can put some pressure into him to start making him play bottom guard, whatever. So I think it's a really good skill to know, like, if somebody is in transition between standing and the mat, like, how do I kill his athletic ability to make him stand up on the bottom? Usually I just look for heist limbs, so like making sure to pull up the bottom limb from the mat, and then to make him face down. So we'll do this exercise every so often just to sort of reinforce some of these concepts. You guys have the opportunity to practice that skill. So we'll head back into turtle where we were last week. We'll play a game where we'll start in turtle where I'm top, Paul is bottom. My goal as top person is to get Paul's hips to touch the mat. The constraint that I have is I can't lock my hands, so no seatbelt, no rear body lock. My hands cannot touch one another. But what I can do is I can use my hands to grab at Paul's shoulders, his armpits. I can insert into his hip pocket So let's not do any guard for the bottom player. Let's say if Paul is able to turn into me, and basically just disconnect, but still remain hips not touching the mat, then that's fine. So basically, the bottom person is looking like, okay, if my partner on top is not putting sufficient pressure and I can walk away, then I can walk away. Or if I can turn into them and basically get all four of my legs in front of my partner, then I would consider that in a better position. You're no longer in the hold. Any other questions? Think that the rules as we go. Alright, on to you.
Keep trying to lock my hands or like go for the
Alright, new partner, just make it big. Alright, we'll add some of the conditions back in for this next game. Basically now we're looking for, we can connect our hands with toppers. I can also look for rear naked chokes. Or if I get connected hands and two hooks in. Basically if I take him back, then that's a win. If I knock him down to the hip and I pin him, that's a win. And then if I'm able to rear naked choke, that's also a win. Now, falls wall bottom is again to, if I'm putting insufficient pressure, we stand up and disconnects, that's a win. If I knock him down to the hip and I'm trying to pin him and he gets back into any sort of guard, that's a win for him. So like, I knock him down to a hip, but I failed to take advantage of that and secure side control for mount. So if he gets into open guard, closed guard, half guard, anything with his feet in front of me, that's a win for him. That's good. If you accomplish your goals, switch. And then we'll do a little bit of drilling so you guys get some time for this. Any questions? We'll play this twice again, 2 minutes each. Just expanded parameters. Alright, I'll do it too. Yeah, I'll roll that back.
Last time.
Alright, partner, same thing.
No, it's good. Just waiting for me to have fewer posts and just doing that.
I'll say that. Okay.
So this, well, you're not pinning me. You gotta, you were halfway there and then you could lock your arms. Right. Yep.
There we go. No, I didn't get the right one in here. It's hard to get focused.
Alright, let's do a little bit of drilling. So with turtle, just as like a safety thing, just be careful with like if I'm behind Paul and I have a seatbelt and I want to pull him over to not just go directly behind me. Because if I do that and Paul's not ready, maybe like doesn't have very good flexibility, you can hurt somebody's knees. And so like for Paul, if he is getting pulled backwards, like he'll probably want to shift his knees one way or the other. So like maybe he'll shift off to the left as he falls, and that's much safer for the knees. Just like just be wary of your training partners. I think I saw a couple instances where folks are getting pulled behind like this. Luckily, I think everyone's flexible enough where it's not an issue. But it does kind of suck when you're like, oh, fuck, alright. And then you'll sort of like, so far I haven't seen anyone in my like years of doing jiu-jitsu where I'm sort of doing this, but I'm sure it's over. So first we'll work on offense. So like thinking about, hey, how do we break this person down? And I think similar to wrestling where we had like, oh, let me like lift up certain things, like we can sort of use the same concepts. Like if I ruin his structure some way, maybe by like pushing an elbow up, maybe by blocking the side of his leg and like pulling his weight over it. They're all just methods of like toppling the building. So like he's basically like a table right now. If I sort of like take out one of the legs, like okay, now he can't face in this direction, and now I have to figure out a way to distribute his weight over in that direction. So like I want you guys just like play around with it. Like I'll give you some of my favorites, which is just pretty standard. Like if I'm able to insert a knee and I have a seatbelt, then I'm looking to basically use my body weight over this shoulder right here. So I'm basically going over the shoulder where he can, he's not able to face. And now I'm pretty much in for a back kick. But I want you guys to also experiment just with like, without connecting the hands again. Like, okay, like, if I hold his foot this way, it means he can't face out this way. So how am I going to manipulate my weight in order to get what I want and achieve by pushing his weight over a base that he can't adjust? Another one that I particularly like is actually using my own feet and sort of hooking at his feet here. And I'm able to sort of breathe his leg outward. And that's going to cause a reaction. So when you reach someone's leg outward like this, they can't turn into you. So like if Paul tries to turn into me, it's just the way his body is configured, he's not going to be able to do that. So when I reach someone's leg towards me, the mechanic says he wants to fall away in that pressure. So he can't, he would want to fall this way in that pressure. And I can take advantage of that by blocking his face on the far side and running his over. So there's some ideas for you guys to play around with. First one is just the seatbelt. Really understanding that collapsing left shoulder. You guys can play around with just like remake this knee or your side knee. I keep literally like reaching across like this, and then just basically fold those and people over. Just because if you're able to reach across like that, you're basically killing their ability to base out this way. If I start to push them this way, there's no way they can do this at elbow. It's going to be easy to push them over to that elbow. So I just want you guys to take this time for really just figure out what you like. And during like the sparring sessions, if you guys tried something but found it really difficult, I can also go around and help us see coach like any questions?
Oh, sure, right.
Yeah, we're
Do you want us to resist?
I mean, it's really maybe just a little bit, but like not. You're not like a dead fish, but you're like keeping some structure. That's a lot harder.
You're just like pulling up on the chin right now. You're just like pulling my chin towards you. I need to block. I need to block my leg facing out, not just pressure into me. So I put my knee here.
And basically, he's got his elbow just like like basically just bringing my weight over. But see, he's opening it. So what you can do is you bring it
man. If you guys can topple over, I'm just gonna kind of run it back until I get something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think with toppling over, I was just telling you guys there that there's always a dilemma.
Yeah.
Right? Like if my base is pretty narrow, it's easy to topple. Right? But if I try to topple someone and they're like, oh, I'm gonna adjust my base, now you're opened up.
Yeah,
Now
exactly.
you can throw your hooks in, now you can get your seatbelt. So you're always interplaying with your action. Alright, time. Let's work a little defense. So, before I do that, I think, like, I already talked to a bunch of you about this, but, yeah, there's always this trilemma going on, which is, like, keeping his posture down, maybe looking for chokes, and then the fact that if his base is narrow, it's easy for me to knock him down, but then obviously he's not giving that, so as I try to knock him down, he's going to open his legs to try and keep base, and that's when I can bring in my hands, bring in my feet, right, and get better grips. So use that like dichotomy, or use that dilemma in order to progress. I think this is again similar to that concept of wrestling when we were doing this morning, which is like think about the reaction before and after. All else fails, like I just think about generating movement. If I like don't get stuck, it's like, oh, I can't. It's hard for me to move him. Then I just like figure out a way to just generate some movement so I can start opening things up. So I'm not just like stuck on one movement that they're trying to defend. Yeah, so just use your dilemmas to progress the game. We'll work a little bit on defense. If Paul takes a seatbelt on me, again, like, I want you guys to understand, like, the seatbelt is this, it's basically a loop around you. And so, like, I defeat seatbelts by rotating. So, I'm kind of like, if you think about, like, in space, there's, like, this hole right here. So, like, obviously, if I rotate this way, it's not really doing anything. I want to be able to slip the shoulder that's in the seatbelt out. So the first thing I do is I generally start rotating in towards Paul. You can take like a tricep grip here too to sort of help you sort of pull the seatbelt. And then I'm basically swimming my arm to the back right here. And from here, you could just like drive them over since now you're facing them a little bit. But what you can also do is to kind of like open this arm. Because right now the seatbelt's sort of getting stuck under my armpit. So I turn into it and I'll slip out this way. And then now I'm in an angled position to start attacking. Might not be easy. It's not the easiest thing to do. But you can ask your partner, like, the minute I turn this way, it just starts to feel like the seatbelt is a lot less useful because what it's supposed to do is to align Paul's chest with my back. You can see that we're clearly at a 90-degree angle. And like, if I can get this hand in front, a lot of the threat is gone. Now I'm facing him, I can even start turning into him and performing offense. So that's what I think about every time someone has a seatbelt on. Let's say like they're even more behind me, maybe it's a little harder. Yeah, this is a slightly different, could be a slightly different sort of scenario where it's like maybe they're looking to throw hooks in and now I'm kind of like protecting myself while I maybe take the angle on the overhook side. So a little finessing to sort of get to that position. Yeah, I'm thinking about rotation when it comes to seatbelts. Let's talk about rear body lock. So they have like a lock around the waist. Again, like there's nothing holding me in terms of just like getting up. So he could pull my hips backwards, but I still feel like I have a pretty good ability to like move forward and up. Start to find like if I get this standing grip, now I'm just basically looking to break grips and get out of the standing rear body lock. The angle still works here too. Like I can also take an angle here. And this sets it up nicely for me to start looking for scoop grips here, looking for this outer reap right here, which is quite strong. I feel like if you're able to get like a good grip coming from the outside on his leg here, he no longer can follow me just because there's like this like pole here that's stopping his lower body coming out. So all I need to do is start moving away from him. The grip breaks, and then now I can make the turn and start tapping. So I think a lot of good turtle options exist. The way I think about it is usually in turtles, someone's going to be, they're going to take a side. What I want to do is I want to turn perpendicular towards them, and that opens up a lot of options. So we can look for scoops, we can look for reaps. I think we can also look for Granbies. So like if I turn to the side right here, I'm basically doing a shoulder roll from my left shoulder to my right shoulder. And if Paul doesn't let go, he could try and follow me, but it's hard. Like once you start executing the Granby, like he almost has to like invert with me in order to follow me. And while some people do try and do that, I almost find always that if they do that, they're misaligned enough to the point where they lose everything. So like as I roll, my opponent generally will let go, but if they don't, and they end up here again, then usually I might like again do another roll. So like here, I'll roll again, and then basically disconnect. So if I do it on call, like the way you want to follow this, yeah, is I usually let go and follow the hips in order to sort of look for a kick. But that's a little more offense. For defense, I do just want to make sure to linearly roll. So like take an angle and it's the inside arm. And I go from left shoulder to right in a straight line. So it's like left to right in a straight line. And you see how it's like I made a straight line, creating distance. So we'll do these drills first. So you guys can have the opportunity to try the Granby, do the difference between seatbelt and rear body lock, and then try some of these ones where you're turning in looking for scoop grips and reaping. I'll combine them. Questions? Alright, I'll do it too. Yeah, it's really.
Seatbelt is the reap one, right? You can grab the reap and the seatbelt, or do you want to only do that when body lock? Okay.
Yeah, if you're doing a little bit. But I want to say, like, if you're purple, yeah, like, yeah, it works. I think it works. Yeah, you can reach it, it could be a way. Yeah. See the other button. Yeah. So now you're completely facing it, and then you can start driving. I guess that works. Yeah. I think what happens is you end up having to grip. Yeah. And then if he is able to move it down and bring this line in place, then you're on a have to turn side. Yeah. So you know what might be easier to do is see up the line. Yeah, we were just talking about that. I think it is possible. It's just a little weird.
I don't know the money about going there and take out the machine.
Can you see it? Oh, I saw that. Yeah. So once you, let's say, once you get that grip, maybe bring it out. I would try to like moving my hips out and knee slide. Yeah. Because when you knee slide this way, you can't fall. So like the knee slide out, there's that sort of
Correct, yeah, you got it. That's what and then you do it again if you do it before you do it. Yes, you do. Yeah, right.
Okay. You'll take the body lock and then first at the end. Break the grip. First at the end, break the grip. Now roll over your right shoulder. Right to left. Right. And then you can choose to roll, but then what happens is like I don't know, just disconnect. Bring your account. First turn. Yeah, and then roll over your right shoulder. Yeah, you're doing a little more like a strike roll than this. But try doing it like right to left. It's kind of a weird. Yeah, you're basically kind of fast one taking the grip, right? Shoulder line right here. And you're kind of following. So it's like up here. Right. To left. Yeah. Pull it out. Pull it out. Yeah. Sit through and break the grip. Turn break the grip. What's going on here? Oh, you're like a seatbelt on really tightly.
Yeah, I mean, just,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. You see how much more distance you cover?
Yeah, a lot further away.
That sort of like helps you create distance between the offense. You can maintain the grip, but you gotta roll with it.
I can see that again.
So I could get to you can roll too. Yeah. I just want more, just higher.
Like higher on my.
Yeah, so you got the right. I just want it to be like on here for like a virtual real one. You're just a little low, that's it. Yeah. Sorry, Bob. Alright, time. So I saw some good Granby. Just to reiterate that Granby is not a front roll. Like a front roll is basically just like I go this way. But Granby is like I go from right to the left. So it's kind of like I create a lot of distance between me and my partner. It's literally just like you're sort of balancing on top of your on your upper back, like pretty much your shoulders, and then you're basically transferring from one shoulder to the other. Yeah, we'll continue working turtle this week. I think like with the defenses, it's always like I think turning in is always a good idea because when I turn and I get that angle, I can start putting legs in between me and the partner, and that just makes it harder for them to get a good position on me when they're on offense. So we'll work other different types of defenses this week as well. A lot of opportunity to drill them out and also play with games. Happy Monday. Figure out to stay consistent. Consciousness. And then if anyone's staying for open match, feel free to put on your timer.
I keep losing. The bigger, the harder it is to miss.
You gonna roll? Alright.
Light roll. Light Monday morning roll.
Monday morning roll.
Yeah.
Don't want to start the week off with a broken nose.
I got a black eye though. It's like 2 days before I was the best man. That's pretty good. Did you just use makeup and color the other black?
I should have.
Yeah.
You know what? I went to like where the like all the bridal parties say, right? And then we have a makeup person and she like fixed it.
Nice. You could just color the other one in and just be like, these are my eye bags.
How you feeling? I want to go lighter. My hair, no problem. It's okay, I appreciate it. No problem. Yeah.
Defending my Kimura is a lot better.
Dude, I went to work on Friday after this. There's like a shower in my office. Has towels and everything. I was shampooing my hair and the fire alarm went off.
Oh no.
So you just walk out, but
I was in a towel with shampooing my hair. It was 40 degrees outside. And the security guard was like, oh, you can go back inside. It's just a drill. It's like, bitch, you saw me walk in here. I do this every day.
There's a firefighter just like clapping like this guy follows the rules.
So yeah. See you,
Are you taking off?
see you Wednesday?
Yeah, be there.
what are you doing? Start it. Everybody else.
Yeah. Showers in the office is crazy.
It's so nice. Like the office is actually not that nice. But like, we work out of like the Rakuten building, like just down the street.
Okay.
Off the 101. I have a shitty office.
Take care, bro. Take care.
guys. Thanks, fellas.
So I think like what happened was I just set off. So I think basically you threw his leg spot and then kind of got into this position right here. So you have good upper body pressure. And then I was just going to say insert your hand here all the way down to the mat. I guess the thing I should have said was also start moving away. So now like you have this wedge here, so if he tries to bring his legs back in, your arms kind of stuck, or even the bottom one too. Bottom leg. Like, if he tries to bring it back in, but you penetrated the hip line, right? And then as you're moving away, you can flatten it out. Also a good thing that you did, like when Paul passed your guard, this is much better than being like that. So like if you find that you're getting past, but your legs are still free, you can totally just like start facing up. Yeah. And then now you're in a much better position to fight. Because you're building base, you're becoming more athletic.
There is one time I paused. I think I started guillotine or something. That's when you submitted me the first time.
Yeah, it was like front head and then or some sort of guillotine.
How can like there to like straight kind of.
Yeah, I think eventually that's probably the next position we're gonna cover, because like if you're a turtle, like one of the things you can do is basically come to the front here and look for front head locks, right? And then like if he's protecting really well, then I'm going to swing back into the turtle. So that's also a dilemma that we play a lot. But basically like it's a preview. A guillotine escape is basically the way I do a guillotine is I have his head in my side right here. So you can fight the hands, but I prefer changing the angle. So all Paul has to do is move his head to the center of my chest. It's gone. I no longer have the leverage to do the guillotine. Like, yeah, because I need my body on the side here pushing his head down. So if he swings the head off to the side, all the way to the other side, and it's gone. So that's one particular defense. Early preventative, like someone wraps your head up, you just move it to the center. Because like there's no way his head is in the center, I can ever really get a good guillotine. I just can't set it up.
You need one side to put the weight on.
Yeah, I need to like use this right here. So just cinch up the guillotine. But yeah, we'll eventually get this. Yeah. Thank you.
See you, Bob.